I had to almost die to learn to live. One day I'm driving home from school. It's pouring raining. Okay, I'm going down the highway. This person flies up next to me, cuts in cross. No, nothing. Just hits the brakes. No signal. I had a decision to make. All right, we all have these moments, and it's when life slows down, but our brains aren't quite thinking enough. I hit the brakes, and it was dumb. I knew that it was raining. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. My back end kicked out. I stirred into the steer and try and save it, stir right back into it again, and I saved it enough to not spin out, to not let the other cars hit me. What happened was I went down to the gully, back up over it, and next thing I know, I'm staring right at a tree, eye to eye, and all my hope was, please, God, please, please, please. I steered just enough out of the way of it, splitting past two trees, maybe a foot on either side. I came crashing down into a gully. It's pouring, raining. I'm okay. Then I start laughing. One, because where else would an Irish guy be than in a gully on St. Patrick's Day? And two, because I looked to my left and to my right. And there's only one thing that I saw. Cars kept going. No one stopped. The car that cut me off kept going. The cars behind me that saw me go into the gully and go into the embankment kept going. The cars that were looking at me, not knowing if I was alive or dead, kept going. And it's made me realize a few things. One, that no one cares. If someone could be in a gully and not know if they're alive or dead, and people keep going because they're thinking about what they have to do at work, they're thinking about what they're going to eat for dinner, they're picking their kids up and bringing them to soccer practice. No one cares what you were going to do, okay? And two is that it reminded me of the thing we forget every single day, that we are going to die one day. And that life, no matter what you believe afterwards, the life that we currently have on this planet is finite. And it's this cliche thing. And the thing is that it's cliche because it works. It's true. We have to keep reminding ourselves of this. So many times we think that we have to learn a new insight, learn a new thing, but in reality, we have to be reminded far more than we have to be taught. Okay? And I don't remember who said it, but someone said, everything that needs to be said has been said before. But since no one was listening, it has to be said again. So I feel like I had to say this again because I wasn't listening back then. I think a lot of people haven't either. All right? I wrote a whole book about trying to live your life because I was so afraid of dying. And it wasn't until I almost died that I learned to live. Okay? I learned to let things go, to be a little bit less serious, to have even more of a sense of humor, to work even harder because I know that at the end of the day, I'm never going to regret trying to achieve something. I'm never going to regret loving more. I'm never going to regret being more friendly. I'm never going to regret helping someone else out. I'm never going to regret leaving the door open for someone so they can walk by me. I'm never going to regret being a little bit more patient. These are all things that I had to be reminded of when I almost died. And I'm telling you this now because I hope you could take my near-death experience and take the lessons from it so you don't have to almost die. You know, and someone said to me after it happened and I told them this, said, isn't it a shame that you have to, risk your life and almost died to be reminded of this? And I was like, we don't. It's just that we are not very good at keeping the main thing. Right? We are so distracted by stuff. Whether it's that, hey, I want to go and start this business, but then you get distracted by going to do 7 other different things. Or, I want to be monogamous, but you can't be monogamous if you're going to date 7 other women. It's not, like, you get distracted. We're not good at keeping the main thing. In this case, the main thing is remembering that we have to live. And I think that when we have to live, it brings out our best qualities, our best traits, right? When you remember that we're going to die one day, it makes you want to be nicer, right? It makes you want to be more caring, more thoughtful, more aware of everything, right? Think about the passing of a family member or a friend or anyone really. You hear, oh, Bob died. Wow, man, I saw him last week. Life is just so short. It reminds you of these things, right? And I think that trying to have this constant reminder every single day is very important. And it's so hard because life gets in the way. Life gets in the way of life, right? Life gets in the way of doing what you want to do sometimes. Life gets in the way of trying to become a better person, but we have to let it go while also not letting the things that we have to do pass us by. Because one day we can look up and life will pass us by. Right? We can look up and say, oh man, I never did the things that I wanted to do. I let the opinions of others control how I thought. And the funny thing is that everyone obviously lives, right? We're all living, but not many of us actually have a life. We don't actually live our lives. I think there's no scientific backing of this, but if I had to estimate, I'd say 80 to 90% of people that ever lived didn't live their life. They lived their life according to what others wanted, according to what they thought others wanted. And I don't know about you, but I don't want others to say and do whatever I think is right or whatever. I want them to be them. I don't love people because they conform or they do exactly what other. No, I love them because of who they are. And if I love someone else because of who they are, that means someone will love me for who I am. But we rob the world of that every single day when we decide to conform and hide ourselves. When we decide to not show people who we really are. When we decide to not say what we really think. All because we're so scared of what others are going to think. You're going to die one day. Everyone that you're afraid of judging you is going to die one day. Do you know what your grandfather was made fun of? Do you know what your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather thought? Do you know his dreams, his desires, his hopes, his wishes, his regrets? No, you don't, because he is gone. And those things never got carried down to you. No, it wasn't like it was this fable and story told to you when you were wee-high to your grandpa. No. The same way, everything you're feeling now, and thinking now, and dreaming of now, and hurting now, your great-great-great-grandkids will not know it either. And there's twisted thing about this, and both are true, but only one is useful. One, you could say, man, what's the point of life then? There's no point of life if we're all gonna die, man, screw it. Or, we're all gonna die. I get to do what I want, right? I get to be the person that I want to be. Now, if you're like me, you believe in an afterlife or whatever, you want to live this time the best possible way you can. And now, imagine this. Just follow me along with this. Even if you are not religious, just hear me out. Imagine you get to the end of your life and you go and meet God, and God says, I gave you 29,000 days on this beautiful earth, living a gorgeous thing called life. Something that is a 1 in 4 trillion chance of happening. And you wasted it. You spent it worried about what everyone else was going to think. You spent it not doing what you actually want to do. You spent it not being the best version of yourself, or at least chasing the best version of yourself. How are you going to feel? I would feel awful. I would feel atrocious. I could not do this right now. I'm not posting to YouTube right now because I'm afraid of what others are going to think. I could not write a book because I'm afraid other people are going to think. But it's because of what I wanted to do. All right? And it's something that where I'm okay with that failure if that does happen, because I know that I chased it. I can live with the failure. I can live with chasing something because it means I had something that was worth chasing. I would rather fail 100 times at something I actually care about than succeed at everything I don't care about. Because at least I have a purpose. At least there's a reason for me being here. All right, look, I'm in this dingy hotel room in Florida speaking to you because I actually want this. I want to help others. I want to do something. I want to chase something. And I'm okay if I get to do this rest of my life and not be successful. It's fine with me, all right? And this only comes from almost dying, because I realize that every single day we could be gone. And it doesn't mean that, like, yes, you can't go on vacation every single day. Obviously, all those restraints are still real. But you can, every day, make the decision to become the person you want to be. You can make the decision to move your life more towards what you want to look like. These are all decisions. We have to make these decisions, live with these decisions, and remember that we're going to die with these decisions. So we can either decide to do nothing or decide to chase who we want to be. I know what I'm going to do, what I can live with. Can you?